Getting into the hobby of pottery is pretty dang expensive. But I'm gonna try to do it here at home by spending $0. I'll find wild, natural clay, use no fancy tools, no expensive equipment, and I'll do a primitive firing method like they did in ancient times. And hopefully it works, because I wanna make a nice handmade Christmas gift for my wife, so babe, don't watch the rest of this. Here we go. The first step of my free pottery challenge is to get some clay.
Now, we ain't going to the store or buying it online from Bezos. I'm gonna head to the back field. Here's a fun fact. There's actually different layers of soil, so if I'm gonna find clay, it's gonna be about here in the subsoil, but there's not even guarantee I'll even find clay. Come on. Oh, it's like a treasure hunt. Digging for that gold. But not gold, clay. That'd be crazy if there was just gold.
Unfortunately, there was no gold, but once I dug down to the subsoil layer, this happened.
Ooh, looks kind of different. Is that clay? Ooh, I think it might be. It's definitely different than the regular soil.
It was indeed just regular soil, unfortunately, but I kept at it for another 30 minutes, working up a sweat and just hoping some clay would magically appear, which it didn't. So then I decided to try looking somewhere else.
I'm heading to the local river because I think that's a common spot for clay to hang out. So hopefully I can find some. Where you at, clay? Nothing yet, but I'm gonna keep going.
And thankfully I did, because a few minutes later,
oh, I think I found some. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Come on. That is proper clay. Look at that. It just squishes so nicely already. Oh, all right, time to collect. I should have brought the bigger shovel.
I was so happy in this moment, because without finding free wild clay, this whole project would be over. But now it's officially on. After what felt like 100,000 scoops with my teeny tiny shovel, I had collected a good amount.
Okay, that's a pretty full bucket. Oh yeah, that's hefty. Oh, I'm so excited right now.
Step 1 officially accomplished. Now, I wish I could use this clay right away, but I have to process it in order to make it softer, more malleable, and separate out the nice pure clay, so that way it doesn't explode in the fire. So step 1 is just to fill the bucket with some water.
Whew, it's not heavy at all. What are you talking about? Okay, well, next step is to mix it up, the water and the clay. Actually, hold on. This technically counts as a fancy tool, doesn't it? Dang it. We're going the old school method, the old hand mixer.
The goal here is to break up all the hard chunks, and although free, there was some drawbacks to this method.
Whew. Definitely the messier method, and quite a lot colder too. My hand's pretty numb right now. Oh, this is gonna take forever. I'm sorry, I might pull out the big guns. This is gonna be the fanciest tool I'm gonna use though, I promise. Oh yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Way more efficient.
Don't worry though, I did get my hands back in there still to remove any rocks.
Nice. Okay, this is what we're after, just pure liquid clay. Look at that. Whole hand? Okay. Ooh. We have a ways to go before this becomes workable clay that we can actually make something with. But this next step is pretty dang easy. You just leave it somewhere like that for a while, and the idea is that the clay sinks to the bottom and separates from the water, and then it's go time.
After a few days, I drained off the water from the top, and then the final step is to pour all the nice pure clay into a cotton pillowcase, which I got for free, obviously, from my pillow. This method is actually pretty common though, and it works because the clay doesn't pass through the fabric, but the water and moisture slowly drains out through it. So thanks to the power of the sun, after a few days, it was dry.
Okay, I wish it was only a few days, but it's been like almost 3 weeks. I think finally though, it's ready.
I'm definitely learning quickly that this challenge is gonna take a lot more time than I thought. But I've come this far, so there's no turning back now.
This is the prettiest pile of clay I've ever seen. Wow. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited to finally make something with this. Also, my parchment paper table did not work. Let me reset to something else. Okay, that's much better.
It may look like I'm just angrily slapping the clay around, but this is actually an important process called wedging. It removes any air bubbles and helps to get the clay to become a nice consistency.
It's pretty crazy that this was just completely free from the river, and honestly, it feels exactly the same as any sort of clay you'd buy from a store.
With the wedging done, I grabbed my water bottle and used it like a little makeshift rolling pin. Then I took a butter knife and cut out a shape for what will become my very first handmade piece of pottery.
I'm thinking this will be a little like trinket tray for Allie, so she can put her jewelry or her keys, some loose change, whatever kind of stuff she wants.
I added some fun designs to the sides and honestly just made it up as I went. This is definitely the part where you let your creativity just take over.
Here's how it's looking. Honestly, I'm having so much fun right now. This is just satisfying my soul, and I'm just excited to keep making more stuff.
What I'm doing here is called scoring, and it's the process of joining two pieces of clay by scratching marks onto it. There is a proper fancy tool that you can use for this, but I discovered that a regular old fork works just fine. And bam, my second piece is a candle holder.
It's time to level things up. Allie loves candles. She also loves flowers, so I'm gonna try to make a vase.
All right, we're going hyper speed on this one. What I'm doing here is a coil technique where you roll the clay into long cylindrical coils, then lay them on top of a base piece and smoosh them together. And then you just keep repeating this, basically laying on more coils, and slowly, boom, 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 they build up the shape.
I feel like using a proper pottery wheel for this part would definitely make it faster. It's been taking me over an hour to make this one little vase. But it's been fun. It's enjoyable and really satisfying to do. I think I'm gonna add little handles on the sides. Like that, like one of those kind of antique looking vases.
Once I attached the handle, I used another kitchen utensil to finish it off. Can you guess which one?
If you guessed spoon, then you're correct. Ding, ding, ding. So I've now used all of the common utensils, so this just proves you don't need all those fancy pottery tools.
After a bit more smoothing, the vase was done. Oh, and I also made a few other pieces too.
And it's been a few days, so they're dried out a little bit, and I'm gonna carve in some designs and add the finishing details.
You probably get it by now. The tools I'm using are just random stuff that I find lying around the house. So for carving, I used a wooden knitting needle and also a popsicle stick. This part was so awesome. I feel like these added little details just was that perfect finishing touch, and it gave the items a bit more dimension and character. Once I was done, I had to wait another week until
the clay has dried even more now. See how they've changed color to being more of a light gray? That means it's time to move on to the final step of the process, the pit fire. It's exactly what it sounds like it is. It's a very ancient and simple way to fire pottery, so I'm gonna dig a pit, build a big fire in it, and that's what's gonna cook our pottery.
Now there is a bit of strategy involved. If I was to just throw them right into the inferno, it would not end well.
You want the heat to gradually increase, because if it gets too hot too quick, boom, they explode. But if it's not too hot and there's moisture, boom, it also explodes. So, am I a little nervous about it? Yes.
This nerve-wracking part is a critical step though in the ceramic process because it transforms the clay into a hard, durable material. I got a fire going to start heating up the ground on the inside of the pit because we don't want any moisture there and we want to start building up a nice bed of coals. It's looking good. Okay, it's time to get our pottery in there. Here we go, level 1 heat.
I'm gonna place the pieces right next to the fire on these old bricks that I put here. You don't want them in any direct flame, but we want to start heating them up a bit. In a proper fancy kiln, the heat gradually increases, so that's what we're trying to replicate right here. It's all about slow and steady.
So I'm hoping my hole in the ground does just as good as a $2,000 kiln because that's how much a good one costs. So we're gonna find out, I guess. For this next level, we're increasing the heat a bit more. So I dug apart the coals to form a little open space in the middle, and then I just placed them all in there.
Oh, it's hot, obviously.
This is taking a long time, but everything I've read online about pit firing said not to rush it and to just be patient.
So I'm willing to do whatever it takes because I do not want my pottery to shatter into 100 pieces. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
I kept the fire going on the outside part for, you guessed it, another hour. But then, finally,
it's time for the ultimate boss level, the hottest heat of them all. It's bonfire time, baby.
Like all good rip-roaring bonfires, I started by building a nice base of wood, which I had to do so carefully.
This feels so strange. Like, what other art form do you spend a ton of time making something beautiful and then you just bury it in fire? Like, taking a real chance here. I spent a lot of time making these.
But now all I can do is cross my fingers and hope for the best.
I'm multitasking, getting some winter yard chores done while making my own pottery. Let's see a fancy kiln do that.
There was definitely a few times where I nervously stared into the blaze, just hoping for some sort of reassurance that the pottery was still in good condition. But I would soon find out.
Well, we're nearing the end, which is exciting. I'm pumped to see what they look like. And the last final part of this process is to cover the pit with some sheet metal.
This will help create sort of an oven, and that way it'll cool down nice and slowly. Because again, if the temperature changes too fast, then Allie is just going to be getting a box full of broken pottery pieces for Christmas.
Woo, the anticipation is killing me. I'm so excited to unbury my pottery, but hopefully this doesn't take too long. Oh yeah, that's still pretty hot and toasty. Oh, I can see the edge of one. Oh, quick little peek. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh yeah, okay. That's hot. It's very tempting to just start pulling them out, but I want them to cool down properly so they don't crack. So I really hope it doesn't rain tonight. Okay, sleep tight. I'll see you in the morning.
The moment of truth was finally here. Was I about to unbury beautiful pottery, or was my hard work and dreams both gonna be shattered? It was the first one, beautiful pottery, and I'm so happy. Sorry, I just like to add a little drama sometimes.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited that none of them are broken. This one's got a little baby crack, but wow. Ooh.
With every piece that I pulled out, my excitement kept on increasing. There was a high chance that they were gonna explode in the fire, but my patience clearly paid off because they were incredible.
Oh my goodness. It looks so cool. The colors and the texture. I was most nervous about this one, so I'm very pumped up right now. Okay, I'm gonna bring them inside and we'll clean them off. Oh wait, my coffee. Don't drop them. Okay.
I brushed away all the soot and ash, and they were all looking great.
Except for the bowl, which the baby crack turned into a full broken pieces.
But thankfully the rest survived, and I think Allie is really gonna love them. So now you know, it is possible to make your own pottery at home for free.
But the full process from start to finish took a total of 34 days.
I really appreciate that you took the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then consider subscribing and have a great rest of your day.